Welcome. Come in a group. It looks like we may be having some internet problems, but we're just going to keep it moving. I'm Dr. Patricia James. I'm the founder of PK James Global Ministry. And my mission is to empower you on your journey, to empower you to maximize your potential, to ignite your passion, to fulfill your purpose, and to activate your faith, to release you so that you can make an impact in this world and walk in total fitness in your mind, your body, and your spirit. And also with a mandate that says, yes, I am enough. So tonight is our night where we talk about Friday night is for Fit by God's Design. And fit is focus plus impact equal transformation. And on Friday nights, we will be having Friday night food for the soul. And so when we're talking about fit, we talk about a holistic manner in our mind, our body, and our spirit. So God had impressed upon me to talk about conversation. It is very vital that we talk about conversation because we want to be fit, we want to be whole. And the scripture that God had given me, it comes from Proverbs, the 18th chapter, and it starts at the 12th verse. Before destruction, the heart of a man is haughty, and before honor is humility. He that answered a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear? The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. And the 16th verse, it says, a man's gift maketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men. He that is first in his own cause seemeth just, but his neighbor cometh and searches him. So the Lord causes contention to cease, and parties between the mighty. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. And our foundation for our lesson in the crucial conversation is that the 21st verse, death and life are where? In the power of the tongue. And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So tonight, God had impressed upon me that on Friday nights, we're going to have Friday night food for the soul. And so when I teach for fitness, it's mind, body, and spirit. And like the scripture just said, it is vital with your conversation. Are you having the conversations that you need to have? You need to examine whether there's some things that's causing you some problems. So I will be teaching over this month, crucial conversation, tools for talking when stakes are high. And the author is Kerry Patterson, Joseph Greene, Ron McMillan, and Al Switzler. And it was forwarded by Stephen Covey. And he's the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And this is a New York Times bestseller. And this is a book that I used when I was a senior healthcare executive. And we were going through some challenges in our organization. And in the organization, there was some downsizing, there was some right sizing, there was some layoff. So there was opportunities for some crucial conversation. And just like in life, we need to have those crucial conversations. So how many of you know that if you don't have those conversations, that it can affect your health and that you're not going to be walking in total fitness, because focus plus impact equal transformation. And we want to do it by God's design. We just read the word where the power, you have the power in your tongue. You have the power to kill and the power to bring alive. And we're not necessarily saying that you're killing them in the physical manner, but you can be killing or making alive by the words that come out of your mouth, or the lack of words, or the lack of conversation. So when I was going through this, I said, crucial conversation. And these are some tools for talking We do a lot of talking, but can you talk when the stakes are high? So when you think about crucial conversation, you need to look all the way through your life. Do an examination, whether it's in your family, in your home, on your job, in the organization, in relationship. Are you having those crucial conversation? It is vital that we have those crucial conversation. So when a crucial conversation comes up, so how do you handle that? Do you say it's either my way, it's your way, or it's our way? In this season, we have to come together collaboratively. It can't be your way, it can't be my way, but when we're looking to push a team forward, then we have to come and be able to listen, to talk, to dialogue. So these crucial conversations, these are tools that you have to talk about when stakes are high. So our way, that's the best solution. So we need to be synergetic. That means that we're going to have synergy. That meaning that the whole, when I talk about fitness, I talk about wholeness. So now that I'm talking about the mind portion of it, the soul portion of it, the connectivity, that we have to have synergy. That means that the whole of the group is greater than the sum of the parts. So then we says that if you follow, you get away saying it's my way, it's your way, and then some people say it's the highway. But we have to move more forward to say that it's our way. In our section on Friday night, it's not necessarily going to be preaching. It may not be glazed with a whole lot of spirituality, but it's going to be glazed with the principles of Jesus Christ. So if you listen closely, you're going to listen at attributes of character, integrity. And so we're going to have to be able to dialogue, the power of dialogue. So when we see our way, when you come to this synergy, that means I'm looking at the wholeness of it. I'm not looking at it, this part is mine, this part is yours, and we're all separate. We have to fit together. See, we're talking about fit by God's design. God wrote the blueprint. He created us in his image and his likeness, so this fit has to come together in a synergistic manner. So when we talk, we want to manifest itself a better decision. When you get away from saying my and I, and you come to that conclusion that when I talk, we're talking we. And it says then you can have better relationship. There's a better decision-making process because you remember it says the power of death and life is in the tongue. What are you saying? It also can increase your commitment to implement decision. It's good when you have a group of people because there's various talents, there's various traits that they bring to the table. Now, if for some reason you're thinking they shouldn't be at the table, why did you invite them? So that's why we need to hear their voice. We need to value their opinion. And that's where it can manifest itself so that we can have better decision. But we have to be able to have crucial conversation. So it increases compliments. It's increased that commitment. So when you can invite people in the group, and I think about PKJ Global Ministry, that it has to be a synergy because God has given me the different facets as of that we're going to have ministry, serving, and prayer. We have nutrition, we have health, and then we have fitness. Now, they all separate and can function separately, but then the foundation is that it falls under PKJ Global Ministry. So in PKJ Global Ministry, it's all going to be a synergy. And that's why it's vital when you're writing your vision, you're writing your plan, you're writing your strategy, that each person that is assisting you, that you're conversating, that they know your vision so that they can be homologous. That means they're saying the same thing. They may be saying it in a different way, but they're saying and delivering that message, that mission, where we empower you to maximize your potential. We ignite your passion to fulfill your purpose, and then we activate your faith to be released so that you can make an impact in this world in total fitness with your mind, your body, and your spirit. So when we're looking at this synergy, we have to have crucial conversation. When we sit down and we are understanding the process, it can increase commitment to implement decision. See, that's why is all of the key players need to be at the table. So when we're making the decision, it's not saying that it's your decision or it was your way. No, this is decision that we came together as a whole, that it was a synergy. So, or a combination of two or more of these. So then you ask, well, what is crucial conversation? Well, when I was in this book, it says the crucial conversation will transform. And see, and that's what focus plus impact is going to bring about transformation. So it's going to tie it together that this crucial conversation is going to transform people and also relationship. So then it said, I want you to listen at this quote. Hello, everybody. Thank y'all for coming in, and I pray that y'all be blessed with the word tonight. We're going to continue this process throughout the month because we need to have dialogue. We need to have conversation. We need to know where everyone is at and how we jointly fit together. And so listen at this quote from C. Northcote Parkinson. It said, the void created by the failure of communication is soon filled with what? Filled with poison, drivel, and misrepresentation. So it's vital that you communicate, that you have that conversation. So then we see, well, what is crucial conversation? They are interaction that happens to everyone. Whether it's at your home, they're the day-to-day conversation that affect your life. Day-to-day, right in your home, there's some crucial conversation that you need to make, you need to have. It is a discussion between two or more people. And then when we have been saying crucial conversation, let me tell you these three things that could occur. Opinions vary. So when there's more than one person in that communication, there's different various opinions. So it's talking about promotion or elevation. An example where we can see where opinions may vary, that he may think that I'm ready, and then you think you're not. And so because you don't sit down and you have that open dialogue, that crucial conversation, then there could be some misinterpretation, some misrepresentation because of the opinion rather than the crucial conversation. Also, you see that stakes could be high. And an example could be that you're in a meeting, there's 4 different co-workers, and we're working on a plan, a marketing strategy, and we just got to do something. We've been talking long enough, and we got to stop talking about it and be about it. And if we don't, then it's going to affect the whole bottom line. So stakes are high. So when you get to evaluate your communication strategies or your lack of communication, then there's some stakes that you could cause some problems if you don't address them. So then emotions run high. So that's what some of these things that we have to look at and make sure we're having these healthy dialogue, these crucial conversation, because your emotion, here's an example of your emotion running strong. You're in the middle of a casual discussion with your spouse, and he decided, I'm going to bring up something that I saw, an ugly incident that happened on yesterday at the neighbor's blockyard picnic. He made some assumption because this is what he said he saw without having a conversation. And so when he did decide to conversate, we see that he found out that it wasn't that. She didn't think that she was flirtatious. She didn't think that she had an ugly incident. But then it caused so much strife in that relationship. It caused those emotions to be elevated because of what he assumed that he saw, or actually what she was doing. See, he assumed that she was not just flirting, said she was just almost as if she was just having a stand-up sexual relationship with that man standing up at that block party. And so those emotions run high. His blood pressure changed, but he didn't have that conversation. So we see that if you don't have these crucial conversations, that they're going to be of various opinion. There's going to be high stakes that's involved. And then we see that the emotion can run away. So if you handle, you got to learn how to handle these crucial conversation. So in each of those cases I just discussed, these are some things that, you run across on a daily basis. Do you not? How do you handle those situations? If you were placed in any of those examples, how would you handle that? Yes, you're going to have to talk it out. It's going to have to be some dialogue. But then it has to be some crucial conversation to learn how to have that conversation without the emotions being elevated, without you striking out. So if you handle these they seem like they're insignificant conversation poorly. So you start developing a pattern of behavior that shows up in all of your crucial conversation. It's best to talk about it. It's best that we're going to have some neutral grounds. We're not going to wait until our emotions are high. We're going to come into a place where we have set the ground rules. Because if you're already in a state of chaos, anxiety, that your blood pressure's already up and you're ready to go and be violent, that's not the time to have that conversation. So crucial conversations are about what? Tough issues. But do we want to handle those tough issues? And let me tell you, I got to turn the fan on for a minute. I forgot to turn my fan on. I'm sorry about that. But you have to have these conversations. And if you don't, you allow it to come on, keep festering, and then it's just going to be like a time bomb that's ready to be set off. So crucial conversations are about tough issues. Have you identified, to thine own self be true, have you identified, let's sit here and think for a minute, some conversation that I need to have, that I have pushed way back. And I see that person and I'm like, I'm going to tell that person we need to sit down because that we need to discuss this. But when that person come in your present, then you forget about it. So it's human nature to back away from discussion with fear that it would hurt us or make things worse. But do you believe that by not communicating, that is sending a signal that who cares? We care about you. We care about listening to your conversation. But you have to talk. We can't assume things. We have to be intelligent. We have to get into a place that we can conversate. So then it said we're masters at avoiding. I done been there, avoiding these tough conversations. But working as a senior healthcare executive, I had to defeat that process, that demon, because I had to address it. And so what I try to do is to have some progressive discipline. Don't wait until it has gotten so bad until it's time for you to terminate me. But then you hadn't talked to me. You hadn't warned me. So I believe in that progressive discipline. I believe in giving people that opportunity to change a behavior. So you have to develop that skill for listening. You have to develop a skill that you have an atmosphere that's safe enough that person can come in and communicate. Then you turn it into their hands. And this is where you give them the opportunity. This means that, you know what? I'm in charge of my action and my reaction. So that right now, I've been given the intervention. I have given the opportunity to change that behavior. I have had an opportunity that we can have this crucial conversation, this dialogue, that these are some tough decisions. And so we have to learn how to talk and address these things without getting offended. Because sometimes the conversation is the conversations that are going to help make you, help strengthen you, help promote you, help elevate you. See, it's not how you handle things when things are good. but it's how you handle things when you can handle that constructive criticism, that crucial conversation. So crucial conversation that we got to stop backing away, because there's high stakes, there's a varying opinion, and then the emotion could be running wild. And there's people, organizations, communities, churches that could be affected by our communication or our lack of crucial conversation. Have you ever been to a meeting that they're doing a whole lot of talking and they're not saying anything? So someone has to have the courage to say, can we get back on track? See, it should be a safe enough ground that you're able to give feedback without that feeling as though that if I say this, they're going to throw me off the team. No, that's when we're saying we're having synergy. Stop avoiding those crucial conversations. So how do we actually handle crucial conversation? And that was just one of the ways that it showed in this book that they handle crucial conversation by avoiding them. I have been there. Sometimes it seemed as though it was easier to see it and not see it. But then what I found out from all of my years of experience in leadership is that if you don't deal with it when it's small, then it's just like a snowball that is started out as a snowflake. And it started tumbling, got bigger and bigger and bigger until it's determined that it became an avalanche and it destroyed everything in its sight because it didn't care, because it had taken a stronghold and said, well, I did this, they didn't do nothing about it. I said that and they didn't do anything about it. And so it's how you handle those tough communication. And I'll tell you the way I handle from being a senior healthcare executive, a director, a manager. I would allow them to talk and I would listen rather than avoid, rather than to jump to conclusion. Give them an opportunity to speak. And then you could listen. And I learned that from one of my friends from up the country. Allow them that space, give them that opportunity to talk. And then I will ask them, do you know why you are here? 9 times out of 10 that I have dealt with employees, dealt in different situations, that they knew at that point why I am here. Unless, they were just foolish. Because, I'll never forget that I had one employee when I was working at Mercy Medical. And, I did the verbal. So you're going to talk to them. Before I put anything on paper, we're going to have this open face-to-face dialogue. And then that next instant, you violated that same problem. So I'm going to call you in and we're going to talk. I'm going to listen to see whether you had an explanation. And then I'm going to give you, so you already have your clear guidance and your expectation. And then if you violate your expectation, what is the next thing that would happen? I believe in being open and upfront so that if you continue down this path, then you can expect this to happen. So he violated again. So that was the second time besides the verbal. And get this, the very day that we were, I had HR and we were getting ready to do the final termination. We literally had to wait on the person to come into the building because that person was violating it again. So when he got there and we sat and we went over it, guess what he told me? He got up and he said, I thank you so much, Miss James. He hugged my neck and he said, I did this to myself. Because I'm going to give you clear expectation, clear guidance. If you violate it, I have never outright fired anyone. They will fire themselves, because when you know the guidelines and you fail to follow them, fail to communicate, fail to have those crucial conversations, then you will do it to yourself. So then to thine own self be true. I'm going to give you another example of a crucial conversation that when I I moved from Clark County to Washington County, and I took over behind someone who had been there 26 years. And so then, that person, because they never had really had guidance, and they were allowed to do some things that was unethical because they had a leader that had a different pattern of how they handled things. And in essence, what they did, they kept them with that slavery mentality. That, hey, I'll allow you to cook this and steal that. I'll allow you to get the grease and you'll take this home. But they never would give them a raise. So this person had been there 20 some years. And she turned out, I used to see her because she had the worst attitude. But then because she knew, I'm firm, but I'm fair, and I'm consistent. And she turned out to be the best employee. And so when I set the ground rules, we had that communication, that crucial conversation of the guidelines and the expectation, and what would happen if you violated those, if you continue down that path. And she came in my office one day and she said, Miss James, she said, I appreciate you, Miss James. She said, I wonder how much I would be making if you had always been my manager. Because prior to me coming in that facility, she had been there 26 years and was making just right at minimum wage. And I said, no. I said, we're not going to violate this ethical practice. I'm not going to set you up to be a thief. I'm not going to set you up that you got to beg for leftover oil. No. I need you to follow the guidelines. I need you to do the path, the assignment that you were hired for. And then I will evaluate you. And during that evaluation process, then she will be promoted. And then she was elevated. And then she took on more responsibility. Then she loved her job. And then she was promoted to another position where she had oversight over others. Now, this was someone had the worst attitude. Now, when I saw her name on the schedule, I was like, you know what? I just hate to see her coming. But before I left there, I told her I appreciate her so much. She turned out to be the best employee. Employees or co-workers or your congregation or whoever that you're coming in to where you're having dialogue, or whether you have to have those crucial conversations, they're looking for that. They're looking for you to give them that. They're looking for this synergy. They're looking for to be able to have a voice to say something. And even though if they say it, it's not necessarily that every time they say something that you're going along with it, but then they have a voice that they can speak it, but they have to know how to speak it, when to speak it, and then they have to not be offended when they say, no, we can't do that. So that's what we're saying, that you're going to have a firm foundation and you're going to work the process. And see, you can't avoid these crucial conversations. You have to face them. But you got to face them correctly, or you can face them, you handle them poorly. Whereas that they're coming in all excited and they all angry, and then you take on their spirit. So what just happened? The whole dialogue ended because you gave up your power. I tell people, don't take my meekness for weakness. It's just power under control. Because if I allow you to be able to come in my office with anger, and I change over and I take on that characteristic, I gave you my power. And I said, it's no one on this earth that can take my power like that. Because God has given me the ability to remain calm under pressure. So who cares about this crucial conversation? Everybody cares, from in your home, relationships, your co-workers, your congregation, the leadership, different teams and organization. So you have to learn how to face them. These crucial conversations, yes, they are tough. But if you don't handle these conversations, then it's going to snowball and turn into an avalanche. So given the three choices, how do you handle conversation? How do you handle Yes, Gwen worked for me and with me, and they knew that's one thing: I was firm, fair, and consistent. And in dietary, Victoria would say, you miss accountability, that you're gonna hold people accountable. And holding them accountable means that it's helping you to go to a greater level. Because if I don't help you identify that's an issue, if I see it and I don't call it out, then I don't care about you. If I continue to see it and you just keep on going, but then it let you feel as though, well, I got to do something bigger and better than this to get her attention. But no, I believe in being firm, fair, and consistent. Thank you for remembering that. Those are my words. So some common, crucial conversation. When I looked at these, I said, wow. Some common, crucial conversation can end a relationship. If you don't have that conversation, talking to coworkers who behave offensively or make suggestive comments. And if you don't deal with that crucial conversation, it's going to snowball and you're going to lose your respect. And what I would tell them, I said, you may not respect, and this is in the corporate setting. You may not respect me, but you'll respect this position as I respect you. And so if you're talking to a coworker who behaves offensively and making suggestive comments, if you don't do it, just think about it. They're going to come back again. If they can start talking to you anyway, that was one thing from all of my I was in healthcare 30 years. And I had worked in retail management, insurance license. One thing all of my employers, the CEOs, the CFOs knew, that I don't curse anyone, I don't raise my voice, and I expect you to handle me the same way. And I have been so blessed and so fortunate that I have never had one of my superiors to talk to me in a manner that wasn't conducive to my character. I can't say that about everybody, because you know what? They would tell me, he will cuss you out, she will cuss you out. I said, yes. I said, but they know me, because I would say the very time that they raise their voice and curse at me, that's the day that I will leave. And that's just me, because that is the standard. That is my character, my integrity. And I try to not just talk about it, but I would be about it. And I try to carry myself that way every day. And have you avoided a crucial conversation? When I saw this one, I said, my God, asking a friend that you done loaned some money, say, man, I need you to repay me. Don't you know I need my money back? But then we will not have that crucial conversation. I think about all of the people that I have loaned money and they told me they were going to pay me back, and I never had that conversation. But guess what? I learned, okay, we're going to put some stipulations in place, or if I rather not do the loan, I'll count that as seed sown. And giving the boss feedback. See, then when this crucial conversation, if your boss, if your employer, if the CEO is being inappropriate, are you in an environment that you can give that feedback to them without feeling like it's going to be retaliated on? See, because people respect you if you carry yourself in a manner. Because I done had to tell a few people, now you don't need to do that. I done told some of my managers, my directors, I done told some administrators that, they're watching everything that you do. So it's not appropriate for you to do that. And so, at first they may shrug it off, but then eventually they'll change that behavior. Okay, another crucial conversation, critiquing a colleague, a friend's work. That if their work is not good, and I know, like on your job, whether you're working in dietary or nursing, administration, whatever you're working in, can you have that conversation to say, that's good, but that's not the best work? and we need you to do it better. See, you got to have those, and you know, and you're doing it in a loving and kind manner. It's not that you're doing in a condescending manner. So it's important. Remember what we said. The power of death and life is in the tongue. So it's how you present yourself and how you say it. Sometimes it's not even what you say, but it's how you say it. And just be cognizant also of your gestures, your motion, your facial features, and how you get into that space. You got to learn how that you're going to have these crucial conversations and have a safe environment. Let them know that in here is a safe environment. Asking a roommate to move out when you know that person not paying the bill and they're not doing what they're supposed to, and you need them to move out, and you won't ask them to do that. Resolving custody of visitation issues. Dealing with a rebellious team. Talking to a team member who isn't keeping commitment. It's because, you know, that, yeah, this person may be excelling and doing all this, but we got somebody on the team that's not carrying their load. Can we have that crucial conversation? And do you not know that a lot of times when you're holding back, you're keeping that person that need to hear that from moving forward? So then it says, confronting a loved one about a substance abuse. That you see this person going down the wrong path. You see that they're alcoholic, they're addicted to drugs, and you see that these are all the different signs, and I know about them, but I won't go and talk to them and say, I see you. I see you. So you need to have that crucial conversation. Asking your in-laws to quit interfering. See, it's a way that you can say whatever you need to say, but you got to, this the approach. And it's the right time at the right place, and have it in a safe environment. Talking to a coworker about personal hygiene. You know, I'll give you an example of that. When I was working in Washington County, the color of the uniforms, they were pink. I mean, light pink. And so, and I had a few employees that wanted to wear all of these seductive underwear and all these flowery things. And you could just see it like, whoop, there it is. So what I did, rather than just put that person on a spot, I recreated the uniform policy. And I made it go and then I had one lady, she would wear a dress, and she'll wear these little stockings that don't, you know, and a stocking is go halfway down her leg. And then she was one that was in the community that was like Miss Perfectionist look, oh well. But when she came to work, she didn't care that her pocket was hanging off and that she had all these big stains on her, because she's like, you know, I'm just working in the kitchen. But before it was over, that we were the #1 best dress in the whole facility. And they worked in dietary, but they cared about them because I gave them clear expectation all the way down to the underwear. Because, you know, you just got to be real. You got to be real. I've seen a whole lot of it, and I'm like, woo. I had one like, woo, don't do that no more. But I had to have that crucial conversation. I had it on an individual basis, and then I changed it so that that person didn't feel as though it was just pointing her out. It was going to be a policy because there was a systemic problem that was going on. So you just have to know how to handle that crucial conversation. So you have to get into the place that I'm going to master your crucial conversation. When you master your crucial conversation, guess what? It can kickstart your career. Yeah, it can do that. It can strengthen your relationship. It may take the edge off because everyone is walking around like on eggshells, afraid that we're going to explode at any minute because we keep holding everything in and don't feel like that we can communicate, that we can just be real with each other. And so it can kickstart your career. It can strengthen your relationship. And when I read this, it said, because we're talking about fit by God's design, it's that it can improve your health. Do you not know if you're harboring all of those things that you need to speak out, that it can fester in your spirit? It can cause your blood pressure to be elevated. If your blood pressure to get elevated, it can cause you to have a stroke. It can cause you to have a heart attack. And then you carrying it all in your belly where that acid is building up. And it's going to cause you to have a poor digestive system. It's going to could cause you also to have ulcers, and ulcers to turn into cancer. So you got to talk about it. Holding this stuff in can literally kill you. So on the night, we're talking about crucial conversation. Tools for talking when the stakes are high. And the first chapter says, and who cares? You better start caring about yourself. You better start talking about it. Don't kill yourself. We want to have focus plus impact equal transformation. And we found out when we first started talking that crucial conversation is aiding you to transform. And it says in Romans 12, he said, do not conform any longer to the pattern. That pattern of holding things in, not talking. And it said if it happened in the house, you stay in the house. But some things you got to talk about. And it's literally killing you. He said, do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And see, that mind, when we're talking about being fit in your mind, see, your mind has to be fit. You have to be conscious and conscientious of the things that is killing your body. Because if you don't deal with these issues, these tough issues, and they are day-to-day issues that snowball because we would not address it. Rather than address it, we just allow it to lay dormant, and it continue to lay dormant. It keep building up until there is an explosion. So take that challenge to have a crucial conversation. The question says, who cares? I care. You care. Because we're saying it's Friday night, and this is your food for the soul. And that soul is where your emotion, your will, your mind, all of those things are. So we have to get this in place because it'll affect everything else. It'll affect your emotion, your mental, your physical, your health, in every area. So you need to talk about it. Have that crucial conversation. So on next Friday, we'll be back again, and we'll be doing the second chapter about, it said, the power of dialogue. There's power in talking. Glory to God. But not just talking, you're going to have to bring up those tough issues. Bring them up, get them out. So that you can live, so you can have emotional stability, so that your health won't be hindered, even with your immune system. So, it's healthy to conversate. They had a study in here that showed that, and they looked at relationships, and they was looking at this person been in a marriage 40 some years, and this one 40 some years. But this person here, they may have argued and they dialogue, but they talked about it. So their immune system was greater than this person that just held everything in. And this one was more vibrant. Not saying that you got to be fussing, arguing, kicking, and all this here. You can get this book from Amazon.com. This is they have a newer version, but this is the one that I'm doing now. We went over this book in 2007. So this is the one. Let me see. Trying to see when, but you'll see the different too. But this is the one that I'm teaching from. Crucial conversation. And because when we're talking about being fit, we're looking at mind, body, and spirit. And we want to be fit enough to conversate, to have these crucial conversations that is not going to hinder us from going to the next level. So you can go to Amazon. I think it may be $10 now. It might have been $25 when we had it, but the organization purchased this, and we did a whole workshop on this. And I just think it's vital. I was so blessed last night when we did heart-to-heart conversation. I said, you know what? God dealt with me. He said, you said Friday night food for the soul. And this is food. He said, blessed are those who hunger and thirst. And when we're talking about our soul, your mind, your emotion, your intellect, so you need to have this. So, because how can your soul be happy, be blessed, to be healthy if you don't have that conversation? And this conversation is what you have, whether you're in the congregation, whether you're on a team in ministry, whether you're on a team outside of ministry. These are the conversation, whether it's in a relationship. We had to go through this in a workshop as a senior healthcare executive, because there was some crucial conversation we had to have with our department heads and the departments to ask different questions that may have laid dormant. So I would teach this here throughout the month of June. Next month we will do wisdom for women in ministry. Then I may come back to this, I'm not sure, but this is so good. And just remember the scripture, and just go ahead and read Proverbs, the 18th chapter. And it starts out so good that tells you, it gives you an encouragement word first. And he tells you that the 16th verse, a man's gift will make room for him, and it will bring him before great men. He that is first in his own cause seemeth just, but his neighbor cometh and searches him. The lot causes contention to cease, and parted between the mighty. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his lips, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. Then he says, death and life, glory to God, are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. And like I said, it would be more like teaching, and that it may not be glazed with preaching, but it's the principles of Jesus Christ. I love Stephen Covey, and this is the leadership component also of PKJ Global Ministry, because God had to quicken me. He said, well, you're leaving out all of the leadership training, all of the different things from being a senior healthcare executive. So this will help benefit you to take you to a next level. So I just want you to be encouraged, and I want you to just think about and write down some questions that you need, some crucial conversation, and then analyze and say, why haven't I had that conversation? But just take it easy now, and write it down. You got to look at the environment. Is it a safe place? You got to get the temper, what's in the room, and then you're gonna have to adjust yourself to make sure that I'm not coming off the wrong way. So we'll be back here next Friday. And so it was good to have everyone on here. And remember, I'm Dr. Patricia James, and my mission is to help you on your journey, to empower you to maximize your potential, to ignite your passion, to fulfill your purpose, to activate your faith so that you can walk in your God-given kingdom assignment with total fitness in your mind, body, and spirit, with a mandate that I want you to always remember every day. Yes, you are enough. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.